Welcome to Live, Let Thrive, a podcast about the Airbnb life, the share economy, and everything in between. Here are your hosts, Myka and Steve.
Hello, hello, hello.
And welcome back to another exciting episode
of Live.
Let Thrive.
I never know if you're going to go high or low on me, so you keep me guessing. I got to have that.
You guys are a piece of work.
Multiple range.
Definitely.
Who's that voice? Where did the voice come through? Is that EJP in the house?
That is EJP. Actually, you know what? That was a nickname that my family used to call me. Was EJ.
EJ.
So they call me EJ, or my cousin who couldn't pronounce my name correctly when we were 6 and 7 would call me Eric. And I'm like, they still remind me of that. And I'm going, come on, guys.
Eric?
Eric. I couldn't pronounce the I. I'm like,
Eric J. Pearce.
This is going to be a great episode. We have a great guest on. This is episode 96, contrary to popular belief, of Live, Let Thrive, the famous Airbnb, VRBO, HomeAway, all that share economy podcast. Your favorite one, and you keep tuning into us. We don't know why, but, I guess y'all enjoy it. So we'll keep making these. How about it, Myka?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. We've been on a roll. We almost to 100. We got to do something special for 100. But we do have our special guest on, Eric J. Pearce, and we are about to talk about how to boost your listing to the top with Facebook ads.
Facebook ads.
Yes,
the exciting
sir.
world of SEO.
Yes, sir.
So PPC.
Yeah,
and
PPC.
SEO and PPC. All right. So, Eric, you do tell us your story, man, a little bit, if you don't mind.
Sure. Well, my career in marketing and sales goes back 21 years. And it originally started, actually, I take that back. It goes back about, how old am I now? About 29, 30 years now. My first deal I ever made was when I was 6 years old.
Yeah.
That's when my career started. It actually started with a golf bag. I was a huge golfer. Still am. Haven't played for a while. But I was a big-time golfer when I was a kid. And I used to like negotiating. It started obviously with my parents, as it usually does. And there was a golf club I was going to a lot. And there was a bag in the club shop. And I really loved this bag, and I was like, I want this bag. And they told me what the price was, and I said, I'm not going to pay that. And so for about 4 months, long story short, for about 4 months, I worked on them, told them the price I was going to pay, and came down to the last day that I got it. I said, all right, guys, are you going to give me this bag for, I think I wanted it for like $25. It was like a $50 bag or something like that. So I was pretty heavy in the negotiations. Mm-hmm. And they said, you know what? You've been asking us every day. We're getting a little tired of it. So yes, you can have it for $25. I said, well, as long as it took you to make this decision, you should throw on the club head covers too. They said, well, we can't do the head covers, but we'll give you a discount on the head covers. How about that? I was like, all right, that's fine. So I got my bag and my head covers and used them for a little bit and then flipped them. So what I did was I went around to all the kids at the range there when we were hitting golf balls and playing golf, practicing and all that stuff. And I started telling them that they needed to go in the shop and get the golf bags in there because the club shop was giving discounts to kids or something like that. So all the parents went in there and bought up all their inventory. And they gave them a discount just because I was telling everybody they were giving a discount. So that was kind of my first role into sales and marketing, as far as I remembered anyway.
So that's when you bagged your first deal.
Right. No pun intended, right? So anyway, from there I went into the finance world. My family had a brokerage firm. Let me move my monitor up. Hey, there we go. I can actually move my screen. So my family had a brokerage firm. It was in commodities, futures, stuff like that back in the day. And my dad was an entrepreneur. He started the business in 1985 out of the basement of our condo. And started with some friends. A year later, he ended up registering it basically as an official brokerage firm. And I got my start into that. I mean, I was always around it. So I was always around marketing and sales and basically kind of the deal making thing and talking to customers and learning what their issues were and solving them. And what happened was when I was about 16, I started spending more time in the office. 17 came along, I started working, and I wasn't a licensed broker, but what I was doing I was doing like all the email outreach and all that. This was before Facebook, before social media, before any of that. So it was old fashioned, just grunt work, figuring out what people were responding to. We didn't have the the KPIs to look at and all that data to look at. So this was basically on response. So what did you think of the email? Asking questions or sending an email out, asking more questions, waiting for their response. So it was really, what we have now with Facebook and these digital platforms, the data collection is, I've never seen anything like it before in my career. I mean, going back to what I was doing was all manual work, and now all that's just calculated automatically. Now we can track all these people. We can basically predict. It's basically predictive marketing, which is incredible. I mean, I never thought I'd see anything like this, where we can predict what someone's going to do next. So going back to when I got that start, it was a multi-million-dollar business. And we had touched in the 8-figure area. And most of this was done from cold calling, email marketing, things like that. And what it came down to is just figuring out what the hook was. And a lot of the times it just came down to service. And so I've always been a big believer in you take care of the customer and the money will follow. There's a lot of agencies that are popping up right now. There's a lot of marketers popping up that are money focused. There's a huge movement going on right now in digital advertising world, and it's really a broken system that's been created. And so what I'm trying to do from this 21 years that I've been doing this is basically not fix a broken system, but create a new system. Because it's hard to fix something that's broken. It's a lot easier to start something fresh that goes against the grain and, be looking face forward out the windshield rather than looking in the rearview mirror. If you're looking at the rearview mirror, you're watching your competition. Looking out the windshield is when you're focused on the customer. And so that's where I got my start. And then, things just evolved from there, and I found myself in Facebook and believed in the platform and thought, this is incredible. I've got to be a part of this. And about 2 years ago, I started working in that direction.
So
now, okay, go ahead, Myka.
Go ahead.
Okay. Now, I guess if you could give us a brief, because you say, I mean, the stuff they can do now is, they know us, what we're going to do before we do it. That's insane. But like a brief, synopsis of the history of SEO, because I always hear, we talked about off the air about Tim Ferriss and stuff like that. And he brings people on that have, they've started businesses and founders, and CEOs, all this stuff. Right. And a lot of the founders, back in the day, they'll say stuff like, oh yeah, SEO was like a new thing, on Google, on Facebook. And we could just go on there and we knew how to rig it to get our company to the top of the thing. He goes, but they caught on to what we were doing. And so now they figured out a way to charge us to do that. Instead, you know what I'm saying? So how was the old Wild West of SEO?
Well, we never did, believe it or not, we never did SEO in the business. And I actually never even got into SEO. SEO, search engine optimization, for those that may not know, that is where you're going into a search engine like Google, or there's a bunch of them now. There's Google, there's Start Page, you've got Bing, you've got multiple others. They're all competing. The thing is the one that really kind of pierces through that, obviously, is Google. They changed things because they simplified the process. And SEO is definitely a game changer because somebody could, they want to search for something. Obviously, that would be search marketing. And the issue with search marketing is that it's really deal and price focused. So in other words, people aren't really they're looking for value, but value is secondary to price. What Facebook is actually, it's pay per click, which is PPC. That's what I was mentioning earlier. So what happens is the difference is it's disruptive marketing, meaning you are the only one on the page rather than fighting for, to be on the top 10 of page one and then trying to maintain your ranking by having to focus on content, which is fine, but you can't copy somebody else's content and make a couple edits to it like, some websites try to do, because Google catches that. The algorithm in Google will see that you copied somebody else's content, even if you change some of it up. And so what they'll do is they'll de-rank you. So if you don't have proper content, you're not going to be ranked and you're not going to be able to get the results you're looking for. So I looked at that. That's where I started looking to get into the digital space. But when I started doing the research on it, for one thing, it's a lot more expensive. It's not as cheap as it used to be. I listen to a lot of Gary Vaynerchuk, and he talks about how
Gary V.
Yeah, Gary V, boy. That dude's awesome. I love him.
Me too.
And so he, when he started with Wine Library, he was buying stuff for cents on the dollar, 5 cents, and he owned like wine. I mean, he was in the early days. So he owned all the major keywords. He had all that, and it was cheap. It's not anymore. And I mean, that was what, 15 years ago, 12 years ago, even 10 years ago, it was still relatively cheap compared to what it is now. And so Google, to me, it's needed. Don't get me wrong. It's needed, but it's just going to keep getting more and more expensive. And I think there's going to be a third, I'm giving you a little bit of a forecast here, but I think in the next 10 years or so, 10, 15 years, you're going to see another form of marketing that's going to come out besides SEO and PPC. Those are the two main types of digital advertising right now.
And now, I have a question. What kind of marketing would you see besides PPC and SEO?
It's going to be something that's going to be more predictive than what we already have. Think about this. Here's why. Look at what, now I'm just drawing a blank. I know this guy's name. Wow, how did I forget his name? Elon Musk. I'm like,
okay.
Why? How? Because I started thinking of Larry Ellison for some reason, the owner of Oracle. So anyway, Elon Musk, he's got this new product coming out that's basically a brain implant. It plugs your brain into a computer somewhat.
That's next level. Go ahead.
So this is next level. So the reason why I say what I did is because I'm looking at where technology is going, where we're evolving. And what's going to end up happening is you'll imagine, and everybody's not going to go get a brain implant, trust me. But the point being is you can be wearing a hat or a pair of glasses or something that has a frequency of some sort that plugs into your brain, plugs into your thoughts through a connection. It can touch you, just like a hearing aid, for instance, that plugs in. You've got pads like this that touch your head, so they can hear better. Those that wear those. So what will end up happening is you'll have these computers that basically plug into your brain waves. And when you think of what you want to see, or you think of a need, or you think of something you want to buy, it's going to start popping up and showing up everywhere. And so what will happen is it's going to follow those patterns with an algorithm, and you're going to start seeing stuff before you think of it because it's watching your pattern. That's where marketing will be in 20 years.
Probably quicker than that.
I'm being conservative because I don't want to freak people out too much. But I'm coming.
It already kind of happens when you're searching Facebook or something, and you're thinking about something, you're talking about something all day, and all of a sudden, boom, there's a bunch of ads pop up. You're like, how?
You know how that happens, don't you? That's
They're
because
listening to us.
Well, they are. That's why you have Amazon Fire TV. You've got Facebook Portal now, which is Facebook's first direct-to-consumer product. Why else would they have that? Think about it.
That's insane.
They now have a monitor that has a camera on it and a microphone, so you can talk to all your friends live, and it follows your motion because it's got motion detectors in it. So why wouldn't it be listening to you?
1984, right?
1984. It's like what was that movie that Tom Cruise did? Minority Report.
Man,
he walks into the mall. It scans his eyes and says, "You might be interested in this." That's where we're going.
Yeah, I remember Minority Report. Yes.
So can I just jump in with this before I forget? Because we're talking about it. They know what we're scrolling. They know what we're looking at. They know everything.
Yeah.
Now I always wondered, and thinking that in the back of my mind when I'm scrolling, I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna look at this one too long or click on it, of course, because then everything will be filled up with that. Do they know, even if you slow down and kind of glance at a picture, like you hover over it for like a second, and then you keep moving on because you don't want commercials? Do they know that you did that?
You just did more than an impression. So with Facebook, with the KPIs in Facebook, they have what's called impressions. So when you look at an impression, basically that's when an ad is presented to you. So you see it as soon as you're scrolling through your feed. It's just like looking at somebody's post. But the catchy part is the copywriting, because when you have good copywriting, they hook you with the first few words. Beyond that, it's the creatives, because they're marketers. Good marketers are going to look at what your interests are, and they're going to put creatives. The creatives are what the images or the video. Facebook optimizes video better than anything, but they still optimize images as well. So what happens is, this is why in my world they call it creative is king. Because when you have the right creatives that matches the avatar of your customer, what an avatar is basically is you map out the ideal aspects of what creates your ideal customer as a marketer. So you know what their interests are, you know what they're looking at, you know what they're doing, you know what age group they're in, you know what they're, you figure all these things out, you map all this out, and then you match the creatives to that, what you think they might be interested in based on statistics, based on data, and Facebook provides most of this data. So what happens is the creative, when you're scrolling through your feed, what's the first thing that catches your attention?
Post. Most of the time, probably be an ad.
Yeah, it's the creative. It's the image. It's the video. It's the thing that hooks your eyes, because your eyes see first.
Yeah.
Your eyes sees, and then you read. So that's the first step to it. And then from there, go ahead. I
know something else they do. I know something else. It has to be, because then you'll scroll and you'll see like an ad starting or something, and they'll flicker like a picture of, let's say, an attractive woman. But then it'll start into the thing, and you're like, sometimes you wait to see what that image was. They did that. They do that crap on purpose, don't they?
Oh yeah, it's to get your attention. That's why creative is king. But all that is when you're putting when you put a video, for instance, in the campaign, when you're building out the campaign, you can choose what the thumbnail is. The thumbnail is just like when you're on YouTube. You can choose the thumbnail, and it might start off with an image, and then it flicks right into the beginning of the video, right? So it's the same thing with Facebook ads. So when you set up the video, you can choose the thumbnail, and usually it's going to be something in there. You can choose an image that doesn't even relate to what the video is. So you can build all this stuff out, and it's designed to get your attention. They want to hook you. You have 1.3 seconds to get someone's attention in the Facebook feed. So for the average person that's on there, you have to get their attention like that. Snap of a finger. You have to grab their attention. You have to keep their attention, and then you have to tell them what to do.
Okay. So I'm gonna reel this back in because this is how me and you connected was through a Airbnb group.
Yep.
I was talking about SEOs and I was talking about Facebook ads. So, okay, I boosted. It was my first time doing it. I was like, I'm gonna just try it, see if it works. I boosted. I didn't boost a post. I created an ad for my book now to link it to my Airbnb.
Mm-hmm.
And within, I think I've spent $20 so far, and 230 people have went to my Airbnb page, which of course increases your SEO on Airbnb. So how, and it's reached 2,743 people based on the people that I've created. So it's like, how does, man, that's powerful, man.
And you didn't even know what you were doing, right?
I didn't know what I was doing.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah. So
that's the beauty of Facebook ads. But then what happens is you'll go through, and I don't mean to cut you off, but I just wanted to kind of give a continuation of where it would end up going. With Facebook, you go through cycles where you have what's called audience exhaustion. So what happens is you'll hit your audience. If you have the same thing over and over and over, what happens is it wears them out and they just get tired of seeing it. So it's almost like they become oblivious to it. So what happens is your results will start to decline, and they'll reach a point where you're not getting any results because the audience has been exhausted on that ad. So as a marketer and as an agency, we usually change depending on how the audience is responding, how the campaign's going, we change our creatives and copy. If we're seeing the cycle happen more frequently, we change it once a week, once every other week. If it's doing fairly well, we change it up once a month. And basically you have to give them something new. So it can even be a different thumbnail. It can be a different video. But what you do is you split test, what's called split testing. So you take basically two campaigns or two ads, and you're going to test different creatives, but you're going to keep the copy the same, the ad copy. If that doesn't work, then you're going to reverse it. If that doesn't work, then you're going to change. You just keep going back and forth till you find the winning combination. It doesn't always take that much where you're going through like 10 different tests. Usually you can find it in one or two split tests. But it's all about optimization. And once you start to experience, it's like you go through a curve of you're optimizing, your campaign's doing well, getting great results. Then you hit a plateau where it's kind of you're getting the same results, or your averages start to stay the same. And then it starts to go through a curve. And usually that curve happens within the first 60 to 90 days of the campaign. So you start to go through that curve where it starts declining because you're exhausting the audience. So what you have to do is, I'm getting, pardon me if this is real technical, but I just want to kind of show you the dynamics.
Please go into it.
So what happens is you can do what's called a duplication. So basically, you don't have to change anything. You can duplicate. You have your campaign. You have your ad set, which is the entire all the details that make up a campaign, okay, or an ad. Then you have the ad itself, which is that image, that copy, and that call to action. Okay, that's the ad. So what you can do is you can duplicate that campaign or that ad set, and what happens is it gets placed into a different section of the audience. So if you have an audience of 100,000 people, what Facebook does is they give you 500 people, like a test group of 500 people out of that audience to see how they respond first. If they respond well, then they let you into the rest of the audience. If you don't do well, then basically they just kind of like your ad just basically dies. So then you got to try again. But what happens is when you duplicate, or I'll use this term to make it easier. When you clone that campaign or that ad set, if you will, that group, you go into a different section of that audience, which is a fresh section. So you didn't even have to change anything. You just basically clone that campaign and you sent it to a different audience. So let's say I've got this football field and I've got this football field. I've been hitting this football field until all of them are exhausted. And then when all of them are exhausted, basically the ad's kind of dying off and not producing anymore, or the results are very minimal. So what I'm doing is I clone that campaign into this football field over here where it's a fresh audience. It's a fresh section of that audience.
Now, the fresh section, is that still part of the target audience that you selected?
Yes, because those 2 football fields are still in that city. You see what I'm saying? Does that make sense? So the 2 football fields represent different sections of the same city. It's just a different group of people within that same target audience. Now,
because
go ahead.
One quick question, because so for my ad, it tells me, this is one thing I love about it. It tells you what audience is actually clicking on your ad. Yep. So, like when you say you exhaust the audience, how do you? And you're saying it's. I guess I kind of need clarification. When the audience is exhausted, how do you? And I know sometimes Facebook will send you a thing that says, "Hey, you can adjust your target audience to this group because they get a little bit more traction." How does that work?
Are you talking about as far as the timing of it, or what? Yeah,
like they sent me a message today, right? And they're like, "Hey, 44 to 57-year-old women are the ones who are clicking your ad. You should take out," and it starts telling you, suggested to take out other groups. You know what I mean?
Sure. I don't always listen to, the first thing that Facebook says, because they also want to make money off of you. They want you to spend more. So that's where I would go in and look at the data and look at the charts, because what you're actually doing, you're in the what's called the what's it called? Express, something like the Express ad creation or something like that. You're not even in like the main part of the ad account. So the main part of the ad account is where you have all the data. And so when you're boosting posts, or you're doing that kind of, basically that quick creation, you're not getting all the data. You're only seeing a portion of it. So in order to see all that data, you need to be on a desktop. You can't see it all through the app on your phone. Just to let you know about that. So anyway, yes, you can see by looking at the data what audience, or what who the age group of who, whether it's men or women, are looking at your ad more. You can see that by looking at your impressions. You're going to have bigger numbers in this group than you are in this group. This group didn't do anything. This group did do something. Is basically what it comes down to. And then you just edit.
Biggest question. What is an impression?
An impression is when an ad is placed in front of you. So when you see that ad, that's an impression.
So your impression to actually people who are clicking on your link, because I know that's a percentage. I don't know what that's called, what that percentage would be.
It's you've got your impressions, you've got your views, and then you've got your link clicks, you've got video views, you've got image views, you've got, there's so many different.
So I guess my question would be, what would you have to do to get your link clicks to go up off the impression?
Spend more money would be one. The other one would be make sure your copywriting is speaking to the audience properly, and there's a formula to that. There's what I like to do is I have basically a 6-step process that that we write our ad copy in, and actually I can give that to you so you can use it. I have it right here on my phone. Good convenience. Let's see here. Let me pull it up for you. I wrote this out just because I give this to a lot of people. So your point 1 is you're going to call out the audience. If you guys want to take notes on this, you call out the audience. Point 1. Point 2 is call out the pain point.
Hold on. Call out the what?
The pain point. Sorry. pull out the pain point.
Okay.
I got to get a headset.
Oh, good. You said
I'll
the
have one
pain
for the
point?
next one. Yes.
What is that?
The pain point is what problem are they having that you can solve. Now, with Airbnb, with your property, it would be something to the effect of, there's multiple versions you could do, but have a last-minute stay in, where are you located again?
The like my Airbnb
Where
that
do you
I
live?
boosted on was Little Rock, Arkansas.
Little Rock, okay. So it would be something to the effect of looking for a last-minute booking in Little Rock, Arkansas, save 30%, blah, blah, blah. So that's your pain point, is they're looking for a last-minute booking and they can't find anything. You know what I'm saying? So that's your pain point. That's a version of a pain point. There's multiple different ways to do it. And then the worthy offer, which is point 3, would be the, get 40% off a 4-day booking or a 3-night stay, something to that effect. Okay. So then what happens is you go to step 4, which is a scarcity-based action. Take this now because this offer is only good for the next 24 hours. Or you can even simplify that and say, offer good for 24 hours. So it's without being pushy to them. It's just let them know, hey, this is only good for 24 hours, so you better take it. We're solving your problem right now, so make sure you get it. Get it while it's good.
Airbnb uses that on us all the time because I travel with Airbnb, and they're always like, you click on one of those cool, you're like, you better hurry. This one's not usually available. Better book.
Right. They know their ad copy. They know their scarcity.
Wow. So Airbnb pretty much promotes promotes your listing for their own benefit. But wow.
Right. And this is what you do with Facebook ads, and you can send this traffic to your page. The other way to do it would be to I've got 2 more points I'll go over for you, just so you have it all and you can use all of it. But I'll give you this tip also. You could also use a landing page, which is basically it's a 1-page website. We use a software called ClickFunnels. So it would basically be a landing page that would have the offer, and they could claim that offer like a coupon. They would then it would then redirect them to your Airbnb page where they could put that coupon code in there and have that savings.
Wait a minute. It's crazy you said that. You can create coupon codes for your Airbnb?
Yeah.
How? What's it called?
If you go into ClickFunnels is the software we use to build landing pages. It's what's called landing page is when I'm sure you've seen ads where you click get offer or whatever, or learn more, and it takes you to a just this 1-page website that's got a nice image on it, and then it's got you put your information in, you click get coupon or give me my coupon or something like that, and basically it gives you a code or gives you a nice graphic with a code inside it. You take that code and you go to your endpoint basically where you put that code in and you get your product. It's the same kind of thing. So you can actually you can create your own coupon codes. There's software where you can do that also, and you can actually produce a coupon code for your customer, for your what's the word I'm looking for, your guest.
Okay.
And basically they'll take that from the landing page, they'll redirect them to your Airbnb page, and they have to put that code in the offer when they buy, which would generate not only a lot of clicks, it would be really good for your SEO. It would be good basically for everything. You get a ridiculous amount of traffic doing that.
So is there a spot in Airbnb, like you go set up your Airbnb, there's a place that you can put coupon codes?
I think so, as far as I know. I thought I saw one the other night.
Okay, I've never.
Keep in mind. Let me make mention that I'm not on Airbnb right now, but I'm getting into Airbnb. So if I'm speaking into something that I don't know, I want to make sure that's clear.
No. If you could, you can give people offers. Like I know that for sure. Like I give people like $55 off their first stay all the time. But my biggest thing was I've been thinking about is what if you could create your own coupon code, put it on your Airbnb? Well, it sounds like if you do it through a third party, it might work. But I'm
right. Well, and that's probably what you'd have to do. Let me see if I can. What is going on here? My app isn't working right. I just wanted to take a look because I'm actually about ready to get into Airbnb, doing subleasing.
Oh, you do arbitrage?
Rental arbitrage. That's what I'm wanting to do. Okay. And so I'm about to open my open an Airbnb account and start doing it.
Where are you located?
I'm in Destin, Florida. Actually, Santa Rosa Beach, Florida.
Oh, man, a lot of opportunity. Perfect vacation rental.
Yeah, exactly. And the place we're looking, there's only 3 units on Airbnb right now.
Oh.
And so I'm like,
that's good.
Telling my wife, I'm like, hon, we kind of need to do this.
Yeah, so, if you can find that little spot where it's not saturated,
yeah, it's definitely not saturated here because most people are afraid of fees and stuff, so they all do VRBO or HOMEE or something like that. And I'm like, why wouldn't you use the brand? Use Airbnb. So I'm like, I'll do it. Jeez, be wide open for me. Thanks.
But real quick question, Eric, because this sounds great and all, but like a lot of people would be concerned with is let's say putting your thing out there on the internet, putting your property out there on the internet, especially with all the bans that are happening and all the legislation, all this stuff, and some people might not want to put their information out there. Is there a way to promote your property without giving away where you're at?
Sure. The way you do that is rather than the strategy that I just gave you, you would simply run traffic straight to your Airbnb page. Okay. So there are multiple ways to do this. That's not the only one. That's just the one I gave you is just the one that converts the best. Because if they want to get more bookings, that's going to do it for sure. But if you just want to run traffic to get attention on your page, that's very simple to do, and it's pretty cheap too. It doesn't cost a lot of money to do that.
Yeah, I've been doing it for $5 a day.
yeah, exactly. And you can optimize that too.
And how would you do that? Would you start a Facebook page of your property or what?
You would start. Well, you only need an ad account. You need to have a business page. Have a business manager, which you have to have a business page to have a business manager. Then you would have an ad account that you'd open up. It would be difficult to install Facebook Pixel, which is what allows you to track everything.
What's it called?
Facebook Pixel. What a pixel is basically it's a tracking code, plain and simple. It's a 17-digit code. It's just a series of numbers. And what you do is if you had, for instance, had your own website, this is why I was giving you the landing page strategy, because the landing page would have that tracking code in it. So then you could retarget. It's a constant cycle of targeting and retargeting the audience. So those that don't convert, you just retarget them until they do. And that's really what it comes down to. That's how you just keep a constant cycle of traffic and conversions happening. So if they just wanted to run traffic to the page, you could do that. The only issue is that unless you somehow have access to the back end of your Airbnb page to be able to get tracking, because if they're using SEO, I would guess that they have some kind of maybe Google Analytics or something like that in there. They've got to have Facebook Pixel in there because they do ads on Facebook. So if you can access that somehow, get that code into your ad account, you can retarget everybody that's been to your page.
See, and I have a question. Can you, with Google Analytics, I never even thought about doing that. Can you set up a Google Analytics to monitor your Facebook page?
No, because it's not. They're two different platforms. Google Analytics is based on, Google's information and other sorry, a message just popped up and it totally distracted me. Google Analytics is based on different analytics. Now, you can see your website data, what's going on. In fact, there might be a way to do that. What I'm used to and what I know best is Facebook Pixel. So I would, I'll ask my team for you and get back to you another time and see if we can do that, because that's something that typically what you do is you'd run Google traffic and then you'd retarget that traffic, because you'd have both pixels on or both tracking codes on your website. And if you had organic traffic coming through Google, they would go to your page where you'd get the information, the targeting data from the Facebook pixel as well. Then you'd retarget them with Facebook ads.
I know how to do it.
And then retarget them with Google.
I just figured out how to do it. I'm sorry, I have a brain of an engineer. I just figured out how to do it.
I do the same thing.
Yeah,
Trust me.
Pretty much if you, like right now I have I don't have a landing page. I have a website that redirects to my Facebook page, to my Airbnb page.
Okay.
So
yeah,
I can just put the Google Analytics on the website, and then that's going to tell you everyone going over to the other page, right? Right.
I would recommend having both Facebook Pixel and Google Analytics on there, because if you're running,
I've never heard of this.
you have to have a business manager and an ad account to be able to.
I have both.
You do? Okay.
Yeah.
So what you do is you.
I'm looking this up. Sorry.
You'll go into your settings, and you'll see people, partners, roles, all that stuff in the business manager, and then you'll see a little thing down lower that says pixel, and you go create a pixel. It'll generate a pixel, and then you can either install it yourself manually or create the code for a developer to go in and do it. But you can do it yourself. It's not that difficult. Okay. I'm going to have to look at it. So you use that data, and then you can set up tracking events in the events creator, and you can basically track every single link click and every single thing that's viewed on your website. So if they're clicking buy now, if they're clicking more information, if they're whatever they're doing, you can track every single move and have all those data points, and then you can retarget every single one of those data points. Man. And then I didn't even get to the fun part yet. If you have a list of past customers, let's say over the last 2 years or so, like an email list, if you just have name, phone number, and email, you can convert that to a CSV file, upload it to Facebook, and create what's called a lookalike audience. That lookalike audience is a clone of your past customers. And then you can go to the 1% of the lookalike is basically the closest to your customer, like the closest identity to your customer, to your ideal customer. So you take that and you can create basically those lookalike audiences and market to them, and then start retargeting them. And your cost is going to be lower because it already has the data. It'll cut your costs in half.
Insane.
And then you can do multiple lookalike audiences, and you can go from 1% all the way up to 10%. So you go 1%, 1 to 2%, 2%, 2 to 3%, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 5 to 6, all the way up to 10% of the lookalike, which basically what happens is it takes nationwide throughout the U.S., basically a percentage of the population. And then what you do is you narrow that down to the geographic area you want to target. The thing you don't want to do is you don't want to target more than, for instance, with real estate, we never target more than 1 or 2 cities per campaign, because the more data you ask from Facebook, the more you're going to pay for it. So what we'll do is, if we're going to target 4 cities, for example, we'll set up 4 separate campaigns, and then we'll use the money we're saving on that cost per lead and do more targeting with the ad copy and ask them to do more things, which gives us more data and lets us know how hot of a lead they are.
So what example, okay, because like when you set up a Facebook ad, and this goes back to what you were just saying about, I guess, kind of being too broad or targeting a city. Mm-hmm. So right now on my Arkansas Airbnb, my Little Rock Airbnb, I purposely just target every single surrounding state. which Arkansas, I believe, touches most states. Is that too broad? Because Facebook tells you, of course, it's not too broad, but would that be too broad?
What's the population size for one area that you target?
Entire state of Texas.
Holy wow! Yeah, you want to narrow that down in sections, because if you're asking for all that data, it takes more time and it takes more money. So if you start, let's say, in the closest proximity, let's just say, throw out an example, Dallas. Let's take Dallas. It's a competitive market. Last I heard, which was 6 years ago, the population of the metro area was like 10 million or something like that, which is mind-boggling for one city. So what you'd want to do, the data starts coming through my mind here, so you have to excuse me. You target one city with a 50-mile radius, let's say, and that's probably going to give you a population of, you probably want to be somewhere between, probably around 500,000, I would say. You don't want to be more than 1 million, 1.5 million at most, 1.5 million at max, because what will happen is your costs will start going up again. What you could actually do, this is a little bit more of an advanced strategy for you, but you could do what's called geofencing, where you take basically 3 cities, basically make a triangle like this. You have one city, one city, one city. You cross section. It looks like this. You cross section and create a fence of geo targeting. That's geofencing, and it's geo hunting at the same time. So you're basically hunting for people that are going to be most interested, and you're fencing them in. So it's like no matter where they go, they're being hit. They're being targeted. It's a lot more advanced, and it'll run your costs up a little bit, but you're really going to narrow down your audience, and you're going to get some insane results from it. Now, on the actual targeting the interests, you don't want to narrow down your targeting too much on the interests and behavior, because what happens again is it's more data. You're asking for more data from Facebook, so it's going to cost you more. So you want to keep that a little bit more broad. Pick maybe, I would say, up to 4 interests, maybe narrow by 1 interest, like a narrowed interest. I'd keep age wide open, target men and women, English speaking, I would say is best, unless you want to broaden that a little bit more, which you can. So that's one way you go about it, and you can get some pretty insane results with that, especially if you're doing lookalike audiences.
Can I hop on real quick here?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Myka mentioned earlier. I was texting with him earlier about I said something like, I love the military people that have rented my house. I mean, they keep it freaking and they leave. It's perfect. It's clean. I mean, they're really respectful. I said I'd like to have more of them. I might just put on there 10% discount for them. And then Myka mentioned, he gets a lot of military people coming through at Little Rock. And I'm like, so knowing that little tidbit that he actually gets a lot of military people, what could he do to maximize that?
Target military people.
So that sounds simple, but like how? I mean, I guess you go on Facebook and then say, hey, send this out to military.
If it's in the interest, you can find it in interest, but you can also call it out in the ad copy. So if you call it out in the ad copy, if you mention military in the ad copy, that's going to help reduce the cost a little bit, so you don't have to target quite as specifically asking Facebook for data. This is where, again, good copywriting comes in handy, because you don't have to rely so much on data from Facebook. You can let your ad copy do most of the heavy lifting, and then just ask Facebook for a little bit of data. So basically what happens is Facebook gets to the audience for you, but you're doing half the work, because you're the one that's calling them out and targeting them with your words and with your visual. And Facebook is just basically putting you in front of them or in the vicinity of them. Once you flip that and go the other way where you're making Facebook do more of the work, your costs are going to go up. So it's that balancing of costs versus results, and that's really how you do it.
Yeah, see, I'm going to have that military to the interest. Because right now I just use Airbnb as the interest.
Well, Airbnb is going to also target other home hosts.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So if you target, you could still do that because there's still a lot of people interested in Airbnb searching for properties. What you could do is go into the exclude interests and exclude Airbnb hosts if it'll allow you to do that. So you can exclude other hosts from the targeting and only target those that are actually interested in a stay.
Yeah, because I've had a few hosts send me messages saying, "Oh, this looks like my place" or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh."
That's why. Because
Right.
Airbnb interest is a broad targeting, which is going to catch everybody. So just if you're going to do it that way, just exclude Airbnb hosts or owners, however it would say it. It'll cost you a little more, but sorry, go ahead.
Another thing, like speaking of something actionable that our listeners could do without diving into the whole it gets a little complicated what y'all talking about.
It gets a lot
targeting
complicated.
and caging and hunting and all this stuff.
Yeah,
it sounded. I mean, I know Myka's nerding out over there, but
Oh yeah.
but like let's say an average listener that's like just getting into this and like, wow,
sure.
That's a lot of information. But because Myka told me a long time ago that what he does with he's done with his listings is he'll clone them sometimes.
Yep.
And that kind of, when you were talking about send an advertisement gets stale and you got to change it up or whatever, when I automatically thought about my listing and what my cover page is, the first picture that people see.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I wonder if that has the same effect. People that are looking for a property people might look for a couple of weeks to find the perfect property. Who knows?
Yeah,
I do. I do. Mm-hmm. The vacation's out, I might look for a couple of weeks, but if you keep seeing the same one and it doesn't tickle your interest, but there's a way you could, Facebook lets you clone. Would it be worth it to clone your property like maybe 3 or 4 times with different, first the different picture on the heading, you know what I'm saying? And
absolutely. What I would do is I would set up one campaign with, this is going to be a little bit technical because that's not a beginner question. If you don't know what you're doing in the ads manager, you're not going to understand this. Trust me, it took me a year to learn this. What you would do is you would go within the campaign, you would go within the ad set, because the ad set has everything that makes up an ad. So that includes everything. That includes your targeting. That includes your audience size. Your ad. That's an ad set. It makes up the entire. It's part of the engine, so to speak. Mm-hmm. You can duplicate, what's called duplicating or clone, the ad itself, and just have a different creative and have 5 different ads of the same ad, same copywriting, but just put a different image or video in each one. So you can speak to different parts of the audience. You can do the same thing with the copywriting. So you can have the same image or video in 5 different ads, but have different copywriting in each one. So you can speak written word to different parts of the audience.
I guess what I'm getting at is just having your property on Airbnb itself, and like I said, they let you clone it. So I'll make 5 different clones of my same property. Right?
Oh, you're talking about within Airbnb,
within the Airbnb
platform. Okay,
because they don't have the most complicated. It tells you how many views your thing's getting and how many bookings. But if you could make like 5 different ones with a different lead-in picture. Okay,
Here's what you do. So if you have, let's say you have, I hope you have a ton of pictures.
Oh yeah.
Good quality pictures are what sell. Period. Doesn't matter what platform you're on. if you're advertising, pictures, quality pictures and video sell. So if you have, let's say, 50 pictures, you don't have to use all 50 of them. But if you can clone, let's say, 10 times, use a different image on each one. And whichever one starts converting the best, which means you're getting more bookings, you optimize that. So then I would take, let's say 5 out of 10 images convert better. So 5 of the 10 convert better than the other 5. Take those 5 and put them on all the listings. So have 5 listings or 5 clones or 10 clones with those images. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So clone it as many times as you can, as many times as they'll let you. Use a different image on each one and see which ones do better. And whichever one does the best, you take that one and put it on all.
Nice. And so, Myka, going to you, because you have experience with cloning. How would that affect, like, people booking one of them and then someone books another one? Do they automatically speak to each other so you won't get a double booking?
I mean, you just link the calendars.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, just link the calendars.
And you'll never come across no problems.
No, not if you link the calendars. You ain't going to get double booked. Now, taking it off platform and you're doing that, then you just have to link those calendars as well.
Okay.
And I kind of want to, I'm going to, because maybe this will probably inspire some people to watch the YouTube. I'm going to share my screen. And maybe Eric can give us some pointers, because this is what I did. Like, I'm going to share my screen real quick.
Let's do it.
And here we go. I'm going to share my screen. This is the ad I created. You guys see my screen here?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so this is the ad I created pretty much.
Okay.
And I got 225 clicks, 2.7K people reach, 2,700 people reach.
Yep.
Hold on, which screen?
That's over 5 days?
Yeah, $20.28 over 5 days. I just have a $5 continuous budget. And what I did was I just grabbed all the states from around me. And most of the people, of course, are from Texas to 1,500. And so also, this is how you can make sure this works. Here's my performance on Airbnb with the property right here, Little Rock Airbnb. It went up 70%.
Imagine if you were using the main ad account or the main ad manager, with all the data and stats.
Yeah. And I'm just doing that off, I don't even know.
I know. That's what I was saying earlier. You don't even know what you're doing.
So, I just kind of wanted to
pull it back up again. Pull your Facebook account back up.
Okay.
Okay. Go to your do you have your business manager up?
Business manager.
Okay. Go to business.facebook.com. I'll give you some value here. Type it into the browser. Business.facebook.com. Okay, right there, down there, business manager.
Right here. Okay.
Let's see. Go up to. You should have an ad account set up.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, okay. Go to your ad account.
Hold on.
Your ad manager, not the ad account. The ad manager. Go up to the business manager. Click on the 3 lines, top left. Right there. Click on that. Okay, go down to ads manager. Okay, so you don't have an ad manager set up yet.
Don't?
Nope. So I would recommend that you set up an official ad account, which is that center button. Scroll down a little bit. See that? Ad account. And if you don't have an ad account, so the ad account ID, I'll take you through this step another time when we're off the podcast, because this will take a little bit of time to produce this. But you're not even running like an official ad account yet. So your results will
way better.
Skyrocket. I'll help you out with this.
But I just kind of wanted to see, like, it literally works.
So think about for your audience, speaking to your audience right now, he's not even using an official ad account and the business manager, which is really where a lot of this comes from. Mm-hmm. This is kind of like beginner version before you step into like the ocean. You're in the pool before you get into the ocean. Yeah. So if you're seeing those kind of results and you really don't know what you're doing on that, think about this. Think about the leverage this gives you. I mean, I bet you when we get into the ad account and I'll walk you through and set up a campaign with you.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised to see your results double. I mean, I can easily see that happening. I was with a customer the other day, and what we did was I created a video campaign. Video views is what it's called, and I'll show you this stuff when we set the ad account. It's video views. So basically, what you do is you're creating an ad that's a video, right? No call to action, just the video with some ad copy. I let that run for a week on $5 a day. And I let it run for 10 days. After that 10 days, I created a retargeting campaign that was going to retarget those that watched at least 75% of that first video.
Oh.
So I retargeted them with a lead form. Now this isn't like what you do for Airbnb, but this is a consumer product that somebody would come and buy, but it's a high ticket product. We're talking about, average sale price of $15,000. Okay. And it's a product that the 1% would buy, and they buy them with cash. Okay. So what I did was retarget them with what's called a Facebook lead form. And what it does is just collects information. You can ask them, you can basically put a quiz in it so they answer some questions. And retargeted them with this, produced 4 highly qualified leads within 3 days. I think we spent like $300 or $400. And 3 of those leads were buyers. One of those buyers I know came in last week, and I believe there are 3 purchases in the process that are about $50,000 in revenue.
Question then, because now you got me thinking. Those bandit signs that real estate investors leave out, you don't even need those anymore, right? You can literally use Facebook.
You can use Facebook. That's one thing that I tell realtors, because we work with realtors mostly. I'm like, why would you spend $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 on farming your neighborhood, sending a mailer, when it takes 18 months before you even get any kind of result or phone call, usually on average, when we could just drop a pin in a Facebook ad and send an ad to that whole neighborhood and just keep retargeting them until they do something on $5 a day.
So real quick question. How do we get Live, Let, Thrive to be the #1 podcast in the world?
We do some insane advertising. That's what you do.
Insane advertising.
Some insane advertising. What you do is you drive them to a landing page, and you could also get more guests on that way. So have a book now. Hey, want to be a guest on Live, Let, Thrive? Here's what we're talking about. We're looking for such and such. If you fit that and you feel you can add value to the audience, blah, 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 click here to learn more. They click learn more, takes them to a landing page, and it says, if you're this, you can basically call out who your audience is, who you want to have on the show, or who you want to watch the show. You can say book now or watch now. And basically, you could watch now. It could link to, it could take them to another spot and pull up a YouTube video. They could watch right there on the landing page, or take them straight to YouTube from there, or take them wherever you want them to go. And you get views. Views are the most important thing for you guys. And then just spread the word. That's how you do it. Build audience and then be on all platforms. You guys should be on, LinkedIn, Snap, TikTok, obviously YouTube. Keep up on Facebook, Instagram. I know you're on there.
Twitter,
Quora, Twitter. More podcast stations.
I got to get on what's that thing called where you can manage all your social media accounts?
I have no idea because there's so many of them out there right now.
Oh yeah, I know it is.
There's tons of them. That's one thing I'm wanting to do at some point here is hire someone to manage all of it. Now I'm like Gary Vee and Grant Cardone. I still manage everything myself, but for the daily tasks, have someone that's doing that. Now Instagram, I love doing like Instagram and Facebook myself. People don't always expect the instant interaction. I usually surprise people because I just jump right on. They're like, "Oh, what?"
This is the thing with Instagram, especially with us having a podcast where it's video.
Yeah, IGTV.
Yeah. But it's still only you have to get to like what 10,000 to make it an hour-long video.
Something like that. But
So it's like kind of
help you with that.
You're still like it takes us a lot of work to get on IGTV because we have to narrow our videos down to 10 minutes.
What you do is you would do it Gary Vee does. So you do an hour-long podcast like this. You put the video and audio on YouTube, and then you take a snippet out for Instagram for the feed. You take a clip out for stories. You take a 10-minute out or 20-minute out for IGTV. You take a part of it out, another snippet for LinkedIn, and then you have some long-form written word there. So you take it's a pyramid concept. You take the largest portion here, and then you just segment bits and pieces and snippets out and have them posted.
Yeah, because we have about 800 LinkedIn followers.
Yeah,
pretty good.
That's what I'd be doing.
See, but I need to broadcast. I need to make you can make podcast pages on LinkedIn, right?
I think so. Now you have LinkedIn Live. Actually, I think you have to get.
Right.
I think you have to have 1,000 followers or 1,000 connections, and you can set up LinkedIn Live now.
Oh yeah, I made thinking of that.
What I should have done when I said that is I should have went. Because it's my light. I just turned my light on, like light bulb. You can do that.
All right, check this out. So now we're nerding out a little bit. You're familiar with Joe Rogan, right?
Oh yeah,
he's got one of the top podcasts in the world, if not the top podcast in the world.
Like on the planet.
It's awesome, dude. And he has and what he does, he drops the newest podcast on YouTube first, and then he puts it out there as a podcast to the world. And so if you want to catch it early, which a lot of people do, they got to watch the YouTube, right? They might actually hear it again later when they're driving the car. But what I've noticed, because I subscribe to him on YouTube. I've noticed I look up, anything like, I don't know, it could be anything, dude. It could be something like, Elon Musk, SpaceX. I look up something like that and see what's out there in YouTube. And underneath, one of the top ones will be, Joe Rogan speaks with Elon Musk about SpaceX. And it's just a small snippet about that particular conversation.
Yep.
Or if I look up a boxer, I look up Conor McGregor or something, and it says Joe Rogan speaks about Conor McGregor with so-and-so. It's like, so there's someone out there that's chopping his stuff up to bits and then throwing it in segments onto YouTube.
Editor. Yeah, it's an editor. Wow. They go and they just edit those. That's what all the influencers on YouTube do. That's what Grant does. It's what Gary does. It's what they all do. Gary actually has, and I'd recommend taking a look at it. He's got his deck basically. I forget what the name of it is, but it's on his website. It's an 86-page like a presentation basically that shows you exactly how he does his content. I'd grab that if I were you. Just Google Gary V 86 page or something like that. It's his content deck, I think is what it's called. If you look that up, that is all you would ever need for producing content and, editing it, listening to everything. I think Gary is one of the masters of content because of the way he does it. The way I love, and my goal in the next couple of years is to be able to hire a videographer to just follow me around and document my day. That's what I'm huge on Instagram and Facebook because of the fact that I can post stories and I can just say, hey, here's what's going on. We're searching for a new home ourselves, as well as some rental properties and stuff, and some Airbnb properties. And so we go into this condo unit we're looking at, right? We get to the front desk and I just turn on a IG story and I just pan around at the end. I just look at a smile guess what? And then, shut it off. and I just start getting it's the views, getting the attention. And that's one thing that all the very wealthy people like Grant, like Gary and Elon, all those guys are really good at getting attention. And as Grant says, money follows attention. So if you're wanting success, you need to get attention. And one thing that I say, because with my agency, what I'm doing is I've gone through a reset. I basically hit the reset button on my agency. I used to be, I changed business models, and I was like, okay, if I'm going to do this right, the way I see the future going, I'm going to shut this down. I'm going to do a renovation, complete renovation, change everything. So I've changed everything. I've hired a team. We basically got 25 people now, all outsourced, because I'm automating my business 100%. I'm pulling myself out of the sales process because I want to build it and I want to grow it. I want to scale it. So I've automated everything, and 4-hour work week. So this is actually the practice of that and the implementation of that for an agency. And it's really interesting because there's moving parts that's in there. So normally with Facebook ads, most agencies would have a consultation call and try to do a hard sell with somebody right on the phone. And then it's an ego thing for a marketer in the groups that I'm in, and I see all this in my industry. It's an ego thing to go in and say, hey, I just closed a $50,000 per month deal plus this, and all this stuff. And I'm like, guys, this is a broken system. You can't scale this. You're binding people to a contract. Nobody wants to be tied to a contract for money like that. And there's a bunch of other things. So I'm like, you know what? We're going to change this. I'm going to go Amazon on everybody. I'm going to create the Amazon for digital advertising. So that's what we're doing. So we're building a new platform. Basically, it's a new website. They'll be able to buy leads directly from the website, buy landing pages, all that stuff. And by the way, that wasn't meant to be a promotion. That was actually meant to be talking about how you can implement 4-hour work week into any business. You can do it for your podcasts. It's the same thing. It's just a matter of understanding the business model and then implementing it. That's what ads are too. It's a way to automate your business. You automate sales. So when you want to grow your Airbnb business, you start getting some advertising in there. You don't have to watch the advertising every day. It's producing traffic for you. It's getting the attention, and money follows attention.
Yes, sir.
And when you focus on the customer, money follows.
I love it. I love it, man. Real quick, so you've never done Airbnb before?
I've stayed at Airbnbs, but I've never had an Airbnb business.
You've never hosted?
I've never hosted before, and that's what I'm really wanting to get into, the rental arbitrage.
And now this is what, because I was asking Myka the other day how to, I just started one. I've done them before, but I just started one and I'm way down in the rankings. And he informed me. I said I probably need get a couple friends and give me some reviews, whatever, get the 5-star thing going on. Mm-hmm. And he said that they don't even look at that anymore. You can go and tell it, Myka, that the Airbnb doesn't even look at reviews anymore.
In your area, no, you're in a saturated market. So your first page viewing is you still have a new, your listing still shows up as new. So you get a boost to the top. So I was telling you to keep that boost. You need to worry about SEO, not reviews. That crap don't matter in DFW, man. It's 3,000 superhosts. They don't care.
And when you say worry about SEO, and you're talking about what Eric's telling us, try to get as many, correct, and many people go to your page as possible.
Exactly. You got to get people going to your page. So the second day of my boosting of doing the SEO stuff, I got a 20-day booking.
PPC.
PPC,
Pay per click.
Yeah, pay per click. So the second day of my advertisement, I got a 20-day booking like that. And I was like, dang. And then when I start looking at the impressions, it says, hey, you're on the first page. This is how many first page impressions you got. This is how it went up.
And isn't it insane how cheap it was?
$5. That's crazy.
$5.
It's crazy.
$5.
So if you do that for a month, that's $150 for a month. You would pay that.
And what's your return on that?
You'll easily care $2,000 a month.
So $150 turns into $2,000. That's more than a 10x return. And you don't even know what you're doing yet.
You can't.
All right, Mike. All right, Myka. To bring it all back, tell our listeners how they could, just today, do some simple things to amp up their Airbnb listing.
Like just to get up to the top, what I would do is, I'm gonna just tell you what I did. I just targeted. Go find your past guests. Find out where they're coming in from. I just lumped them into a location. Like I just seen, okay, they're coming from Missouri and Texas. So let me actually tell you the first part of the ad. I knew all my guests were coming from Dallas and Houston, so I purposely targeted Dallas and Houston.
Yep.
Worked great.
Okay. And then to break it down before that, you have to make a page. You made a Facebook page for your listing.
Oh, yeah.
Correct?
Yeah, I made a Facebook page.
So go on Facebook, make a page for your listing.
Facebook. I created a Facebook page. Once I had the Facebook page up, I also created an Instagram page.
Yep.
And once I was done, I put on my page a call to action button called Book Now.
Yep.
That Book Now, when you click it, it takes you to my direct Airbnb page for that listing. Then I created an advertisement for that Book Now. So that advertisement, it showed I created a slideshow of photos of the Airbnb. It gave them, so when people scroll past, they see this slideshow, and then they see, hey, you can book now, and it has hey, here's the newest Little Rock Airbnb, the best Airbnb. If you're coming to Little Rock, book your next vacation. Click book now, shoots them to the Airbnb page. And I got 200, right now I'm at 230 clicks, and I started that 4 days ago for $5.
Jeez.
And I just because it was funny because I was talking to him in a group, Eric in a group, because I was asking about, because everyone kept saying, you got to get on the Facebook ads, SEO, and all this pay-per-click. And I was like, all right. So I went and asked, and then Eric hopped on. He's like, yeah, I have a Facebook ad agency. It works. I've tried it, and that works.
That is awesome.
We'll work on that some more.
Yeah. It was crazy.
All right. Well, we've been at this for a while, and I know there's a lot of interest, guests, a lot of listeners that want to know how to get a hold of you, Eric, and maybe, acquire your services. And so, how can people get a hold of you?
I am on Facebook at Eric J. Pearce. Pearce is Pearce. Also Instagram, same thing, Eric J. Pearce. LinkedIn, Eric Pearce. And my website is pearcemediagroup.com. And those are the best ways to reach me. Or they can even email me, eric@pearcemediagroup.com.
Awesome. Anything to add to any tidbits for our listeners?
Let me I actually didn't give you the last 2 points of the 6 process of ad copy. So I'll give you the last 2, and then I'll just do a quick overview. Number 5 is a clear focused photo. So high quality photo or video. HD video is best. 4K if you can figure that out. And then number 6 is just repeating the worthy offer. So there's this little thing in the bottom where you can put a headline, and it's the part when you're looking at a post, it's down at the bottom where you normally see a link or a book now or something like that. Repeat the offer. So if it's 30% off for a 3-night stay, repeat, get your 30% off for your 3-night stay or whatever, something like that. So first point was call out the audience. So that's, hey, Little Rock, Arkansas. Hey, Little Rock, something like that. Number 2 is call out the pain point, whatever that is. If that's, late booking or last second booking or can't find anything for such and such time. So that way, if you have let's say you have 10 days that aren't booked in your calendar, you can basically leverage that. So you can say, are you looking for a booking between this date to this date? Save, 30% off from these days to these days, something to that effect. So you can actually leverage what bookings you're missing in the ad copy and basically put it in their mind that that's when they want to stay. That's just the way it works. And then your scarcity based action, get this in 24 hours or whatever, or the one I said earlier, which was offers good for the next 24 hours, the next 48 hours or something like that. And then what you can do is you can actually go back after that time expires and say, well, guys, we've decided to extend the offer for an extra 24 hours. We've only got 2 days left, so make sure you book now. Something like that. You see what I'm saying? So you can keep reusing that. Number 5 is the clear focus photo or the high resolution video, HD. And then repeat that offer. And that's going to be good. And then just either do a book now if you really want to put some pressure on, but learn more. Oftentimes kind of relieves that pressure, but allows them to make the decision to move forward. So they don't feel as much pressure. Less likely to lose bookings that way or lose views, page views, if it's a learn more, because book now is you got to do it now. So they feel less pressure by being able to say learn more. Okay, now where do I get this discount? How do I do this? Learn more. Okay. So it kind of flows with that theme a little bit more. Does that make sense?
That's perfect sense. That's awesome.
Cool.
By the way, here's another quick tip if you want to get direct bookings. What you can do is on your Facebook page that you create, let's say you create Arlington short-term rental or Arlington Airbnb, you can put a call now button on there.
Yep.
They call you directly off the ad, and you take a direct booking.
And you can do that off the paid ads as well. It's called click to call or CTC. Yeah. And you use the reach objective. That's the only one you can use it on. And you can actually create an ad that they can, if you want to create an urgent type of message where it's book in the next 10 hours or something like that. Or if you call now, we'll give you such and such discount. But it's got to be a really good offer to do that. And then you can just have the click to call. They can tap it. They call you right up.
Here's the only problem with that. Nobody likes to talk on the telephone anymore.
Right. And that's why a lot of people don't use that. They'd rather go to get the information, get their coupon, then go to your page and book. But you can always test it for $5 a day,
Right.
You never know.
Cool.
Yeah, that's
especially if you have an older audience.
Pretty good test. Oh.
It's been a great show. What do you think, Myka?
Yeah, it's been a good show, man.
We need to have him back on for part 2.
Yeah, we gotta have a part 2 with you. I'm definitely about to be advertising a few things and upping my ad game.
I'm down. Hey, maybe next time what we can do is we could do a recording or do a live a quick campaign build or something like that.
Yeah, man, we can turn it into a webinar.
Yeah.
Oh, dang, that'd be awesome.
Oh,
that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, let's do it, man. Definitely.
Well, all right, EJP. Eric J. Pearce, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, my pleasure, guys. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Definitely, man. And you can check us out at liveletthrive.com, IG, Facebook. We're always on there. Hit us up.
liveletthrive@gmail.com. Hit us, throw some emails.
Yeah. And also YouTube. Definitely check this one out on YouTube. You got to check this one out because when I showed you how those ads work, you got to check that out.
It's awesome.
All right. Live, let, thrive. Peace out.
Peace.
Later.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Live, Let, Thrive. Be sure to tune in next week for all the latest in the world of Airbnb and all that entails. Bye-bye.